video is about trying to convince people to like you and why you just need to stop. Hello, my name is Sarah, and I've tried to film this video 3 times, but I've bored myself. So I have stepped back and I have tried to put my thoughts into a bubble, and hopefully we can get through this video and I can get my point across in a clear, concise manner that is valuable for you. Because that's what I would like to be doing here, is providing value to you. So today, I'm sharing a podcast that has changed my life. It's called the French Kiss Life Podcast, or just French Kiss Life, by Tonya Leigh. And it will be linked in the description below. I highly, highly recommend it. I've shared it with friends and family already, and some strangers. So the episode in particular I wanted to address is for episode 80, called Convincing Others versus Convincing Yourself. I have some of my own prompts for the end of the video, so if you would like some food for thought and some prompts on how you can convince yourself and like yourself before you try to convince other people to like you, stick around to the end. It's not other people's job to like us. Obviously, it's not other people's job to convince us that we're worth it or that we're valuable, and yet we still give them the power when they didn't even ask for it. It's crazy how much we're willing to give our own power of our self-worth and our self-validation to others. One of my favorite quotes of this entire episode was when she says, "When you're convinced that you are likable, you don't need other people to like you. You just get to like you." How simple and joyful is that, to just like yourself? It's something I've been working on for a while. It was very nice to hear this podcast and hear this episode come up so that I could kind of be reaffirmed that I'm on the right way, that I'm thinking the right things about myself and taking back my own power and my own value. Part of this video, and part of the reason I've had to refilm it so many times, is because I don't really have a full outline. Because I didn't plan on filming this video today, but I wanted to because of an experience I had over the weekend. It actually started earlier this year on my birthday. And there's a video, I'll link it right here. It's about trying not to compare yourself, and that was also sort of stemmed from that birthday. During my birthday night, for those of you who haven't seen that other video, I had a friend of mine tell me that I needed to stop being so happy and stop sharing my own personal views of my success because it was making other people sad, and it was making other people feel like their life wasn't good enough. That comment made me cry. I cried on my birthday. It was a little embarrassing because I had a bunch of people over and I just had a meltdown in my bathroom. But it was also one of the most freeing moments of my life because I realized in that moment that for those people, I could never change their opinion of me. I had no idea I was spending so much energy trying to convince those people to like me, when in reality, I don't like the same things they do, and they don't like the same things I do. We are not similar people. So that brings me to this weekend. We were out camping with these same friends, and I have not seen them since that birthday. I would go out of my way to say hello, and I barely got eye contact. If I asked a question, they'd answer it, but not looking at me, and then they'd go away. None of them made conversation with me. And at first, I almost, without thinking about it, almost felt like I'd done something wrong. The old me would have forced conversation. I would have continued asking question after question to try to break down that ice block between us. At one point in the night, I would have most definitely tried to bump into them alone and ask what I did wrong. Where did I go offending them? And I know the answer would have been, "Oh, no, like, oh, that's so weird. Yeah, I don't know how you got deleted off of all my social media." I know that would be the answer. Everything that the old me would have done would have caused myself anxiety, wondering why don't they like me? It would have caused drama. And lastly, it would have caused a lot of uncomfortable conversation. I wouldn't have been able to just let it go. And somewhere, I don't know if this is actually in the podcast or if it's just a point where I interpreted it, I had also said, it's not your responsibility to convince other people to like you. And then as I re-listened to the podcast, I liked something she said. I let him keep his opinion and I kept mine because I liked mine better. She doesn't say mine is better. It's not that her opinion is the right opinion. It's just the one she likes better. So it's the one she's gonna choose to keep. It's so simple. Just letting other people have different opinions. Rather than trying to convince somebody that she is right, she just lets them disagree with her. They get to be upset with her. They get to not like what she says or not like her. And that is such a freeing idea. And it was for me, sitting at the fire thinking, they're allowed to not like me. because I like me. I really like me. And I don't have to convince anyone else of my own value and my own worth because I know it. And I get to enjoy it, even if everyone else doesn't like it. And part of that sounds, and as I repeat it, it sounds almost egotistical, but that might be an insecurity I have to dive into of not feeling like I'm allowed to feel worthy. She says, I am done convincing people of anything. Believe what you want to believe, and I will continue to just be me. I wanted to finish this video with 3 ways that you can practice liking and convincing yourself of your own value. Tonya has a few of her own questions at the end that are great thought-provoking questions, and I highly suggest clicking that link in the description. But these questions that I have right now and these writing prompts are things that came to me. So the first thing you can do to practice liking and convincing yourself is to trust yourself and stop asking for input on the little things. A question you can ask yourself, and like maybe a writing prompt, is this: what have you already convinced yourself about? For me, a new recent convincing of myself is flossing and the benefits of it. We didn't grow up with it. My dentists have told me to do it. I did not care. And lately I've been trying to incorporate it into my daily routine. I trust my decision to start flossing. I really do. I trust it's going to benefit me, and I don't need anyone else to tell me why it's a waste of time or why it's a good idea, because I've decided within myself. So what have you decided within yourself is a good idea, or what have you convinced yourself about recently? The second way to practice loving yourself and convincing yourself you are worthy is to write or journal your daily accomplishments, no matter how big or small. It's so important to be proud of yourself and proud of the decisions you made. The question and writing prompt I'm offering for this one is, what was your favorite accomplishment of today? So not your biggest, not the hardest one that you've been holding up there for a while, but what was your favorite accomplishment? Lastly, the third way that you can practice convincing yourself is to write your vision and your why. This one's a hard one for me. I have a vision of my life and I have a vision of the goals I want to accomplish, but the why is very hard to pinpoint. I was talking with my therapist today, and through my rambles that I'm well known for, I kind of broke into the reason that I don't like to come down to my why, because then it means I have an end goal. And it means I can start working towards it. And that's scary, because then that means there's room for failure. So in this attempt to convince others that my goals are valid, I've never really convinced myself. So the question for number 3 is, what is your why? And there are plenty of videos on YouTube talking about this, writing prompts or figuring out your vision, figuring out your life path. I can link a few in the description down below if I remember. I hope that those prompts and little practices can help you as you become more confident in your own self and you can convince yourself of your own value and worth. I want to end with something that Tonya says in about the middle of her podcast episode.
I'm not going to chase after people anymore. I spent so many years of my life doing that and trying to convince people that I was worthy of their time and their attention and their love. And let me tell you, it was the most miserable years of my life. What I really needed to be doing was loving myself and confirming my own worth so that I didn't need that validation from everybody else.
You already are an amazing person. You are already valuable because no one has your unique perspective on life and your experiences to draw from. So you don't have to convince anyone else that what you have to say is valuable. You just have to convince yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs down. I'd love if you'd leave me a comment explaining your reasoning. But I am not going to convince you that you should change your mind. Thank you so much for watching this far. And if you haven't seen my video on journaling, it'll be right there, corner, or on the screen. Don't forget to check out the podcast from Tonya Leigh, and don't forget, most importantly, to subscribe because I'm posting new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I will see you in one of them. Bye.